What's up everybody, Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video I got a 2010 Terrain. Guy said he was driving along and the check engine light came on, car started shaking a little bit, turned the AC on, started shaking even a little bit more. I got in and bring it around and it smelled like you ate a whole bowl of egg salad and took a shit somewhere. So I got a funny feeling what you're going to have is probably an insufficient flow in the catalytic converter and maybe a misfire. So let's check it out. All right, I went ahead and did a pre-scan. I scanned all the modules. There was 15 of them. The first thing that I see is right here, it's the fuel trim system is too rich. That's probably the egg smell. So it may not have ruined the catalytic converter, but if you leave it like that, you can definitely ruin a converter. And the misfire is detected. So let's do this. The rest of these we're not worrying with. It's anti-lock brake and airbag. He's not complaining about any of that right now. He just wants that check engine light going. So let's go ahead and let's hit diagnose. Let's see what we got. Check this out. Replace the fuel injector, high pressure pump. Okay, let's look at it's got a servicing bulletin on it. Let's check this out, see what this is. Information on engine, run on, running rough, the light is on. Let's check it out. P1, this is for P172, and that's exactly what we have. Let's go down to, all right, serpentines. This bulletin replaces PIP 4783B. Please disregard that one. Conditions, engine run on, rough idle. Technician may find the P072 set in the engine control module. This condition may be caused by fuel contamination in the crankshaft. The cause, this may be a result of a high pressure leaking fuel into the crankcase when the plunger is depressed. Let's do this. Let's look at some smart data. So we have, the car is not even running right this minute. And we have a throttle position is 29%, engine load is 0, map is 29.9, injector power is 0 milliseconds. These are all, let me start it up and let's see if any of these go away. Right now the fuel pressure sensor PSI is 61.7. I'm gonna exit out real quick. Go back one more time. Let's go into it again. Let's see if all the same ones come back. Okay, so we have cylinder number 1 is misfiring. It could be just a bad injector also. We have total misfires 10, engine load is at 34, TPS percent is 16, spark advance is at 12, the map is at 10, the fuel rail pressure MPa is 3.9, the fuel pressure is 42.0. Few things I need to do. I need to go into some service data and let's check what some of these specs should be. If I'm listening to the car, I'm not sure if y'all can hear that or not. So not sure if you can hear that or not. It's almost like I can hear a timing chain slap. I can hear metal on metal in there. All right, let's take a second. Let me go back in and let me go to the service data and let's see what some of these other specs should be. So looking at some data, it says the engine idling at normal operating temperature. Verify the scan tool pump control module. Fuel pressure scanner sensor perimeter is between 40 and 47 PSI. And we're looking at fuel pressure of 48. I was at 51 when I first went back to 50. So the fuel pressure is too high is what it's telling me right now. And I've never really seen this before. Like if you look at the fuel injector status, it's okay, now it's not run, okay, not run. Normally they're in the okay position. You don't never see them going to not running. So I think it's trying to compensate for something. Let's go look at the O2s. Let's go check and see what the O2 readings are. Look at something here. Let's go to data display, sensor data. I want to look at the long-term and short-term fuel trim. Short-term is positive to negative, so it's staying right around 0. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's customize this list. Let's make it a little bit easier. Deselect all. Sorry about that little interruption there. I think I left off. We're going to customize this list, and I want to look at the O2s. So we're going to look at O2, sensor 2. Let's look at the, I don't need to look at the heater. I'm not worried about the heater. Let's look at the short term, long term. I'm trying to find if they had a O2 sensor 1 with the millivolts. I got a sensor 1 heater, sensor 2 heater, sensor 2 heater amp, sensor 1 heater. Here it is, right in front of me. I'm a little ticked off right now. I was dealing with a home warranty company on my AC unit, and every time I turn around, no one understands English and they're trying to rip me off. Unreal. All right, Let's look at the view list. So the long term is at -50. Short term is constantly negative. Well, that's way out of whack right here. And we were looking at, that's constant rich. I think we're dumping fuel. I was looking at some real-time fixes. It did it 21 times. He cleaned the throttle body. Was one of the corrective repairs on this. Let's just take a second. Let's just do a visual on the car. Let me look at the throttle body. Let me examine the high pressure pump, and let's see what we got going on. What I'm gonna do first is get this breather cover out of the way for the yakety yak, a hump me jack, tongue tied baby. The throttle body's right underneath here. We do got a little bit of residue, not too much. All right, what I'm gonna do first is go back. We're gonna go back. Let's go into functional, right here. Go back for a second. Engine, generic functions. No, we don't want that. We want try functional test. Output controls. And what I'm looking for is throttle position. I'm opening up the butterfly all the way electronically. Sometimes you can push it by hand, but if you do that, the key has to be off, and you got to be kind of do it gingerly. You just can't be like a bull in a china closet and just go balls to the wall. But being as I have the scanner hooked up, we're doing it this way. And looking at it, it doesn't look too, a little bit of grease, not too much. Don't squirt this directly in there. People do it all the time. And you know, true story, I've seen a guy before did that. He loaded the shit out of it. Then he went to start the car and hydrolocked the engine. He had so much fluid in there it didn't burn off. Just put a little bit on your rag and wipe it. And you're guaranteed doing it this way, you're not gonna screw nothing up. And I'm just using the CRC throttle body cleaner. I've had good luck with that. No real major issues with it. We are good to go. We are golden. Close it back up, exit out of this. Go ahead and pull this cover off here. Wow, wow. So I wish I had smell-o-vision on my camera, I guess you could say, because the gas smell coming out of where you put the oil is horrible. A lot of gas, a lot of gas. Means this thing is definitely loading up. Oh yeah, and if you look at the oil, you can smell the gas in the oil. So we have, it's possible we just have a leaking injector. I honestly don't believe it's gonna be the high pressure pump. I think we're gonna have an injector problem somewhere. All right, the injectors are, I believe, are down here. I'm trying to get my hands on them. So let's do a leak down test. Let me get a gauge hooked up to it. Let's prime it. Let's see how fast the injectors leak down. All right, I'm gonna turn the key on and let's see what happens to the fuel pressure. Let's see how high it gets. Key's on, and holy shit, well, that ain't good. My gauge is leaking. I didn't expect that. That thing should have built all the way up. Off, on, off, on. The key's on. Look how fast it's leaking down. We most definitely have an open injector somewhere. Let's see if I have an injector balance test on this. With this tool here, retry. Let's go back here and take a look. Look at that. Look at that gauge bouncing around. That is not normal. Let's try an injector balance test. Not doing it. Why not? Output controls. I got a feeling that bouncing around that gauge is going to be from, like we were looking at earlier, the injector's cutting off and cutting on. Where the hell was I just at? Oh, an injector balance test. It says ensure all fuel lines are connected. The transmission must be in park if the vehicle is equipped manual, blah, blah, blah. Supply the park brake, start the engine, AC off. Yeah, hit continue. The injector balance. The ECM will pulse each injector in a consecutive order. When the injector is tested, a slight dip in engine speed should be noticed. Fuel pressure drops when recorded. I hit continue. All right. So it's telling me how much each one dropped. Cylinder number 4. So look at injector number 3. Injector number 2 dropped, the PSI was 52, 53, 52, and look at 46. We have 46 on number 3. That's gonna be your problem child right there. So let's take a screenshot of this. because those are all within like a PSI of each other, not even a PSI. That's way under, that's 10. So let's check this out real quick. Let's go back, display data. I think I saw the misfire on number 3. Misfire data, number 3, misfire. 23. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with an open injector, and that's why we have that egg smell. I think it's just dumping too much fuel. I could smell it in the crankcase when I took the oil cap off. It was just, you could smell it coming out of there. So looking at those tests there, we're gonna go with the number 3 fuel injector. He'll probably, knowing this customer here, would probably want to do them all, which would make better sense than going back a second time, because I can almost guarantee you have one going out now, they're going to fall in sequence, you know, one now, one 3 months from now, and down the line. The labor is going to be the same, so you might as well just do them all. I'll recommend them. That way, he can make his own decision, but we're going to recommend all the injectors. But you can see number 3 is going to be the problem child. So I just got off the phone with a customer, and what we talked about is a few options. The labor to do the job is, if you do 1 injector, it's 4.0. If you do all 4 injectors, it's 4.3. The biggest cost is going to be the price of the injector. And I told him you could do 1 injector and it may last. It may not last. It's just kind of a gamble you take. But I left the decision up to him, and I know the guy from the past. We've done stuff for him before, and I knew roughly what he was going to say, and we're in agreement. Just do all 4. You're looking at it. Labor is exactly the same. So we're going to put 4 injectors in this car and change the oil. All right, it's late. It's time to go home. But I did get the diagnostics done, so tomorrow when we get back, we know what direction to go into. So make sure you like and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss part 2 of how to do the install. Appreciate you watching. Catch you later.